contact is coming so much sooner than people have been saying and that most of us are believing because we are expanding our frequencies, which means we are much more able to connect with our galactic brethren, our higher versions of self, with the aliens. That brings contact closer. And as far as disclosure, it seems from what I'm reading and listening to, or turning off, that the government is going to finally admit things, and then we can meet the aliens. That's not how it's going down, people. That is not how it's going to happen. Welcome to your multidimensional journey. I am Tracy Canberra, and let's dive deep into contact and disclosure and aliens and all of us going multidimensional. When is the government going to tell us they've been working with aliens for years, if not decades, or maybe even centuries? We've been seeing evidence of alien interaction for centuries, if not millennia, on cave walls, petroglyphs, hieroglyphics from so many different tribes of Native Americans, from Egyptians, from other areas of the world, other groups of people. And of course, we see it with our own eyes. So many people have taken videos and posted them. You've got Area 51 in Nevada that is decades old. You've got the Miami Mall incident from last year. It's becoming much more difficult to deny humanity the existence of aliens when so many are having experiences of them. It's just too much to cover up anymore. And we are too high of a frequency now to deny interacting with them. Because the more we expand our frequency, the more we're in the frequency where we can interact with them. I'm going to weigh in today with what my Arcturian Collective is saying about contact and disclosure. They've been hanging out with me all morning, wanting to put this on recording so that humanity has more hope, that we are waiting and watching and participating in some cases, that we have been on standby, waiting for humanity not only to be ready to lessen the fear of contact, but also expand awareness into a dimension where contact is more coherent for them. That's what they're telling me. So let's do the who, what, where, when, why of contact. First, let's go to the when, because that's everyone's big question. Contact, I feel right now, based on what my galactic team tells me, I believe we're going to have much more contact in 2026. This year has been a year of massive transformational change, and it's been very chaotic. And the rest of the year, for some, is going to still be very chaotic. Hopefully, most of us are riding the wave and staying above the chaos. But we have next year to really anchor in these new frequencies and really learn to surf the waves. And then by 2026, so much more of humanity is going to be able to expand their awareness to a dimensional reality where they can see the starships. So the fact of the matter is that the when changes all the time based on our up-leveling, based on our ascension. If we are ready sooner, then we'll see them sooner. If we take a sidetrack into fear and apocalyptic thoughts and Lord knows what else, then they have to wait longer because they're all hanging out around our planet. Those of you that can tune into star beings and starships, you can see them. They are hanging outside our atmosphere. There are so many beings around our planet and on our planet, around us and within our planet. So as soon as we are ready is the answer to when. As soon as we are ready, we will start seeing them. And contact, it is gradual. So we can say 2026. It doesn't mean you're going to wake up January 1st and there'll be starships, spaceships on the White House lawn. They're laughing. They're like, it may not be America that we land in first. But from what I've seen, it is incremental. You have to have the awareness and the acceptance. If you're in fear, they're not going to show up to you because you'll freak out, drop your vibration, and not be able to see them anymore.
So contact date is always shifting as the frequency on Earth is always shifting. Because we have to be of an expansive, say a high enough frequency to be able to see the beings, interact with the beings in a realistic way. Bilocating and telepathy is very different. You're talking through dimensions. But to have the beings land here physically on our Earth, it has to be a frequency they're comfortable with. They're not going to land in 3D, they're going to land in 5D or higher. So we have to be able to see that. And that's why we're doing all of this big work this year in 2024 with all of the solar storms and light codes coming down and everything, is so that we can get our physical, mental, and emotional bodies into a higher awareness. So we can move more into light body, more into our crystalline DNA, our multidimensional DNA, in order to see them when they do land, because they're here already. If you want contact to be sooner, help people raise their vibration sooner. That's the answer to the when. Now, where? Honestly, the where can be anywhere. Starships land in Sedona all the time because of the vortex energies and several other places, Mount Shasta. There are other places throughout the world. It is not based on location as much as it's based on awareness. Why would they land in Sedona before Washington, D.C.? Because Sedona's vibration with the vortex energy and all the healers there is very much higher than Washington, D.C. But honestly, in a year and a half, when people are changing their vibrations, it could be anywhere and everywhere. So the where of where they're landing, I'm asking my Arcturian Collective. Dear humans, understand where we will land depends on how open you are to it. There are pockets of humanity that are very open, and all of us multidimensional beings will land there where it is more accepted and more able to communicate with us. Now, this does not denote that we will only land in one place and people will have to flock to it. No, no, no. If you discuss the how, we could do simultaneous landings at many, many locations around the world. That is one way to, in your human words, we will say, force disclosure. Because if 100 starships reveal themselves in 100 locations throughout the Earth at the same time in many different countries, then there will be no denying, no covering up. It will have to be admitted because it is evident. So you can expect mass landings after the first few select landings so that different pockets of humanity find acceptance, raise their vibration. And once we have pockets of acceptance, we will then do mass landings. Not just our Arcturians, no, Palladians, Lyrians, Syrians, Orions, many beings that you've never even heard of, that you have not yet come in contact with. Mass landings will be all beings. And understand that all these beings have incarnations in many, many dimensions. The starship may land, but if a crystalline collective consciousness emerges, it will be far more difficult for humans to see them, feel them, sense them, interact with them. So we may take the lower dimensional form of beings. Some of these beings are very humanoid, some very much are not. But understand that initial contact, our desire is to portray more humanoid beings to come into those forms, simply to make it easier for humanity to accept and understand and merge with. I think we have answered all of it. The who, the what, the when, the how, the why of contact. It is coming. And the best that you can do is the exercises to bilocate and merge with your higher dimensional selves. For you have the beautiful crystalline thread of connection within your soul self to your higher dimensional selves. Practice merging with them. Practice inviting starships to your awareness, and you will build your contact library more and more, as others will. And that will help us to land sooner. But simply believe that you are on the verge of contact. Tracy is asking about disclosure. When will the governments finally let you know they've been working with aliens? Well, this is tied into the release of your dualistic energies, your toxic masculine energies that have created controlling patriarchal systems on your planet for centuries and millennia. This year and your next year will be very big in releasing those toxic energies. Some of you will move through divine feminine to get to divine neutral. Some of you will reach straight for divine neutral. The more that your humanity reaches the divine neutral state, the more the government will have to bring about disclosure. But understand that disclosure is not necessary to precede contact. No, contact will force disclosure. So consider disclosure could be pre contact or post contact. It will be just as thrilling for you humans if disclosure comes after contact. And as you say, they spill all the beans and you start really learning what they've been doing. Because understand, if they disclose much before contact, it could breed much, much anger and resentment and fear in your world. But once contact happens and you realize we are here to protect, to provide, to support, to assist, we are you. Therefore, we love you. And when you realize that through contact, then disclosure will be much easier to handle. And you will have many more instances of, I knew it, rather than, oh my God, are we going to die? So you are in for a spectacular journey through the rest of the 2020s. But expect contact and thus disclosure to happen much sooner than you imagine. So when people say 2026, celebrate that. Tell yourself that would be wonderful for you. You're working on that. In fact, 2025 would be wonderful for you. When people say 2030, say, okay, I'm doing the work to bring it about sooner. It is up to you to bring us and our starships into your awareness. But we will tell you now, the frequency within which you are now as a collective humanity, that frequency could bear contact. By spring of your next year of 2025, the frequency will be far more harmonious for contact, and far more of you will have individual contact experiences. And that is the precursor for collective contact. So do the work, ask for help, find exercises within this podcast series, within others, within many different channelers, within your own higher versions of self. Find the exercises and do them. Practice, because the more you connect with us, the easier it will be for all of humanity to see us, for we are showing ourselves already. We have the greatest of faith in you on this ascension journey. Call upon us and many others. We are here to assist. Much, much love to you. Okay, I think they covered everything, and I'm feeling really good hanging out with my Arcturian Collective today. So if you're on YouTube, let me know in the comments below. When do you think contact is and disclosure? And if you're already seeing starships, what do you see and when? Share your experiences with the community because it opens everyone's minds when you share, and it helps all of us in the community ascend faster. As always, thanks for listening. I appreciate you, beautiful souls.